This is going to be a story time of how me and my friends waged war on the nastiest girls at my high school. After watching all of the parts, you get to decide who won this war. And just a heads up, this will probably be the nastiest story time that I've ever posted. Let's get right into it. So at my high school, there was these group of girls that would keep themselves dirty so they could get attention from the boys. They would never take showers. They would always come to school stankin'. It was so bad to the point where if you were in class with them, the teachers would have to open up all the windows and leave the door wide open so the smell could drift out. Like, it was that bad. You really could have passed out. The school went as far as holding an assembly about how important hygiene is, just because of these girls. Now, these girls stayed together as a clique, and they were on the track team, and me and my friends were also on the track team. Our coach encouraged us to take showers after practice, but she couldn't force us. But she made it clear that she wanted us to take showers. Those girls wouldn't take full-on showers. They just get in the water for like 5 seconds and then get out. So one day, me and my friends decided that all those girls were in the shower, we were going to pour soap and shampoo all over them, like for part 2. This is going to be part 2 of how me and my friends waged war on the nastiest girls at our high school. As you could imagine, track practice sucked because of how bad they smelled. And mind you, they barely contributed to the track team. They were those girls that always pretended like they had an injury so they didn't have to practice. It was embarrassing, like, why are you here? And so after practice, while they were taking their 10-second showers, me and my friends took bottles of soap and shampoo and poured it all over them. This made them like cuss us out. They were extremely angry, but they didn't do anything. So some time passes by, and one of my friends had told me that her boyfriend had gave her an STD. So she's thinking, he didn't have this STD before, and all of a sudden he has one. So where did he get it from? Then all of a sudden, next thing you know, one of those stankin' wankin' girls that we poured soap and shampoo all over starts posting on her story, and she says, and I quote, "You say I'm dirty, but your boyfriend doesn't think any less of me, so what does that make you?" Eventually, my friend's boyfriend admitted to her that he had cheated on her with one of those girls. And it wasn't just the two of them. It was all those girls, my friend's boyfriend, and some of his friends. It was like a fivesome. This is going to be part 3 of how me and my friends waged war on the nastiest girls at our high school. So like I said, those girls that never took showers had gotten a train ran on them by one of my friend's boyfriend and some of his friends. This pissed my friend off so bad, she was acting out of character. And I say out of character, I'm talking about this girl was saying, "Oh, I'm gonna poison her. I'm gonna run this bitch over." At the time, it seemed excessive, but just wait until you hear the whole story and you'll understand why it would have been justified. So my friend had asked her ex-boyfriend why he did what he did. He said that they didn't smell bad at the time and it was just spur of the moment. But he knew that his own girlfriend did not like those girls. My friend would talk shit about those girls to him. And it's the fact that he still had the audacity to put his dingling in my friend after he had ran a train on those girls. Like, that's disrespectful. And so to get back at these girls, my friend decided that she was going to stay in the locker room for track practice after all the girls left the locker room. And she took a piss on all of those girls' clothes. This led to one of the girls getting a rash that got really bad to the point where she had to be hospitalized. Trust me, you're gonna want to like for part 4. So this is gonna be part 4 of the time my friends and I waged war on the nastiest girls at our high school. So after my friend had pissed on those girls' clothes for giving her an STD, one of the girls got a really bad rash for wearing those clothes and had to be hospitalized. Now, I would have said that my friend went too far if it wasn't for this. So my track team ended up going on a camping trip. And the coach told those girls specifically that if they wanted to go on the camping trip, that they were going to have to be hygienic. They were going to have to take full-on showers. They were going to have to brush their teeth. They're going to have to bring a change of clothes. And me and my friends had hoped that they weren't going to come on this camping trip so we could have our fun. But they actually agreed to being hygienic. And so they came on the camping trip. I'm still taken aback at the events that happened on this camping trip. So we're on the camping trip. We're like the 3rd day in. We sat around the campfire and made s'mores, and then we all went to sleep in our tents. Me and my friends, we all shared a tent. All my friends were asleep, but I wasn't asleep yet. I was still drifting asleep. And then I heard somebody open our tent. It was kind of dark, but I could still make out who it was, and it was one of those girls me and my friends were beefing with. She gets to where my friend is sleeping and squats down, and she takes a shit right on my friend. This is going to be part 5 of the time my friends and I waged war on the nastiest girls at our high school. Like I said, we're on a camping trip, and my friends and I are all sleeping in a tent. One of those girls we're beefing with comes into the tent, squats down on one of my friend's faces, and takes a shit right on her face. Mind you, she thought that I was sleeping, so once I screamed at her, like, "What the fuck are you doing?" she gets up and runs out of the tent. This girl is butt-ass naked, okay? My friend eventually wakes up, and she's smacking her lips like, "What is that taste?" And I'm telling her, like, do not swallow. Whatever you do not swallow. And I'm like, "Girl, it's just some chocolate from the s'mores we made earlier." I was trying to get her not to freak out because she was going to mollywop Miss Butt Naked Nasty. She eventually figures out what it is, and she's like, "Is this some type of sick joke?" And so I'm telling her, "No, bitch, who the fuck do you think I am?" So I run out the tent, and then I see one of those girls, like, fast walking towards the woods, and she's looking behind her, and then she sees me. So I start running after her, and she starts dashing through the woods. I'm cussing her out like, "Bitch, you're fucking nasty. Fuck is wrong with you? Eventually our coaches hear the noise and they wake up like for part 6. This is gonna be part 6 of the time my friends and I waged war on the nastiest girls at our high school. Like I said, after I'm chasing this girl for taking a shit on my friend's face, I'm cussing her out, running behind her. Eventually I lose her in the woods and I have to walk back to where we were camping. Our coaches had woken up at that point and they were talking to my friend who had shit all over her face. She was telling them like, I don't even know what's going on. And so once they saw me, they were asking me like, what's happening? And I'm basically telling them everything that happened. And so the coaches start looking for this girl. Eventually they find her butt naked somewhere. They called that girl's parents and then my friend's parents to let them know what had happened. And my friend's mom decided that she did not want my friend on the camping trip anymore. So they cut the camping trip short, and for the rest of the time, they kept that girl and my friend separated. Just so you guys know, me and my friends could not beat up those girls because we were athletic academic scholars, bitch. They are not worth it. But once we went to school again, the school ended up expelling all of those girls. And it's because my friend's complaint about them was kind of the last straw. They had so many complaints about their hygiene, how dirty they were, so the school was just kind of like, okay, we're done with y'all. That was the end of it. Who do y'all think won this war? This is gonna be a quick story time of how my parents found my OnlyFans. So I had just recently broken up with my boyfriend and my friends were trying to find ways to make me feel better. They were trying to tell me to go on Tinder and all these other dating apps to find a new man. I didn't want to find a new man more than I wanted to make him jealous. And so my friends were telling me a good way to get back at him is to post myself with another man. But I had a better idea. I was gonna make an OnlyFans and I was gonna tell his friends about it and let them subscribe for free. And it did work. He sent me a big paragraph going off on me about it. I thought it was really funny, but anyways. So I had left one night with my friends, you know, they were just trying to take me out to make me feel a little bit better, just to try to make me feel better and get the recent breakup off my head. And I was living at home at the time. I had just turned 18. My parents were really strict and they didn't even know that I had a boyfriend. So while I'm out with my friends, I get a text message from my mom telling me to get home now. I'm asking her what's going on and she's telling me that I just need to get home because we need to talk. And so once I get home, I open the front door. I walk into the living room and my ass was spread open right on the TV screen. So this is gonna be part 2 of how my parents found my OnlyFans. So I get home from hanging out with my friends and I see my OnlyFans on the TV screen. My mom is acting like she just saw the Holy Ghost. My dad is shaking his head, just mad disappointed. For some reason, my little brother was sitting over there on the couch. And I'm like, what are y'all doing? What is this? Why would you put it on the TV? Our TV was a smart touchscreen TV and you could connect your phone to the TV, but I didn't understand why it was on the TV screen with my little brother right there. My mom's yelling at me like, so is this what we are? Is this what we do? She's telling me if I'm going to be acting grown, then I'm gonna have to find a different place to stay because I'm not about to represent our family like this. So I told her that it was just a quick way for me to make money and she told me that I was lying. And then she proceeded to show me a text message that she got from my boyfriend telling her that I had let his friends subscribe for free and that I was going down the deep end and I need to be talked to. I don't know if I said ex-boyfriend or not, but it was my ex-boyfriend who had sent her that text. So I told him that I would delete my OnlyFans and this is what I said to my ex-boyfriend like for part 3. So this is gonna be part 3 of how my parents found my OnlyFans. So it was my ex-boyfriend who had told my parents about my OnlyFans. So I decided that I was going to message him. I basically went off on him and I told him, why the fuck would you show my parents my OnlyFans? Why did you feel the need to do that? You're just jealous, yada, yada, yada. And he told me that it's because he doesn't want me to represent myself that way. But I know it's more of the fact that his friends were subscribed to me and he wanted me to just take it down. And I told him that we weren't in a relationship anymore, so his opinion didn't matter. I removed him off everything and he still found ways to text me. He even eventually started to email me. And now he was telling me that he missed me and that he wanted another chance. And I'm like, dude, no, you almost got me kicked out. From that point on, my parents never helped me out with anything ever again. I had to start paying everything by myself. And throughout the relationship with my boyfriend, he would basically do everything for me. And so I decided to get back with him. Eventually, he got his own apartment. And so I moved out of my parents' house and moved in with him. And then me and him made an OnlyFans together. My parents found out about that too, but there was nothing that... This is the story of how I lost my virginity at my college campus. And it was one of my professors that took my virginity. And this professor had a wife. Let's get right into it. This happened my freshman year in college, okay? A bitch just got there. If I'm being 100% honest, I never wanted to do the nasty because I was trying to save it for somebody special. After I graduated, baby, it was time for me to act up. And I most definitely acted up. Shit. So freshman year of college comes around. The first day of school and I walk into English class. I see this fine, sexy, tall glass of water. See this man sitting at this desk in the front of the classroom. This man was Liam Hemsworth on crack. This is Liam Hemsworth. Bitch, do the math. Class starts and he introduces himself as the professor. Like, really? I wanted this man to rail me. Anyways, as time went on, this professor and I began to become really close. Maybe a little too close. He would ask me to stay after class and we would literally just talk. It became a regular thing. We got so close that we exchanged phone numbers. So close to the point where one night he called me and invited me to his house. This is gonna be part 2 of how I lost my virginity to my college professor who was married. So like I said, he calls me one night and invites me to his house. He said we were getting along really well and that he never did this to any of his other students, but since me and him created such a special bond that I was an exception. So I was like, "Your fine ass, sir, I will speed. Let me grab my keys." He gives me the address, I show up, and he lets me in. We sit down and we just start talking about anything. He shows me around his house eventually. As he's showing me around his house, we get to some pictures on the wall. That's when I found out that he had a wife. Immediately no. Nothing else happened and I made an excuse to go home. He texts me and says that it sucks that I had to go home. He wishes we could have spent more time together. I told him that was most likely the last time we were going to spend together since he had a wife. Because I did give a fuck at the moment. But things changed. Finding out he was married made me so uncomfortable that I stopped answering his calls and I stopped replying to his texts. I also skipped that class for a little bit because I just felt so awkward. One day the professor sends out an email saying that there was a mandatory meeting after school. I go to that meeting, but when I show up, me and my professor are the only people there. Like for part 3. This is gonna be part 4 of the time I lost my virginity by my college professor who was married. Like I said, me and my professor started taking pictures and taking videos whenever we would hook up. That would lead to our downfall. Mind you, he was the one who asked to start taking those pictures and recording those videos because he wanted it for when I wasn't around. We were doing all this and we were still walking by each other in class like nothing happened. Well, one day I'm sitting in his class as usual. Just a normal regular day. I never would have thought anything like this would have happened. But I guess it's my karma. We're sitting in class and we're learning about whatever the hell. We were going over some notes that a student had asked to go over because they didn't understand, but the professor was having a hard time trying to pull up these notes. His computer screen was connected to the big screen that all the students could see. I don't know what it's called, a smart board? Some electronic screen. It's a projector. I googled it. His computer screen is on the projector and he's opening up a bunch of documents and files. And next thing you know, he clicks a file and all the pictures and videos of me and the professor naked together shows up on the screen in front of everyone. This is going to be part 5 of the time I lost my virginity to my college professor who was married. Like I said, the professor clicks on the wrong file on his computer. All the pictures and videos of me and him hooking up showed up on the screen in front of the whole entire class. I'm sitting there like, I don't know who that is. That ain't me. It might look like me, but it ain't me. The entire class gasped all at once. It was like a harmony. And some students who sat next to me started to look at me. Like I said, I don't know who that girl that looks exactly like me on the screen is. I don't know who she is. Don't associate me with her. I don't know her. The professor's face goes red. He was frantically trying to take it off the screen. Like, it's too late. I put my hoodie up and I didn't know if I should leave the classroom or just stay in the classroom because not everybody realized that it was me. Like, some people in college don't pay attention to who's in their class. But the people that sat next to me knew that it was me. I didn't know if I should have stayed in class or if I should have left the classroom because if I left the classroom it would have looked guilty, but if I stayed in there it was just awkward. I decided to stay to avoid looking guilty. Once class was over and I went home, the entire school knew about me and the professor. This is gonna be part 6 of the time I lost my virginity to my college professor who was married. So like I said, I sat through the rest of the class after those pictures and videos were shown. It just would have been way more awkward if I just walked out right away. Like, it's already awkward. Let's try to avoid the awkwardness as much as we can right now. By the time I got home, everybody knew about me and the professor. Everybody at school was talking about it. What's worse is that somebody took a picture of the screen. That was evidence, and someone sent that to his wife. A lot of people were asking me about what happened, but I didn't tell them anything because I didn't have any friends at that school and nobody deserved to know my business. I had not been in contact with the professor ever since. He had blocked my number and I tried to email him, but he wasn't answering my emails. He also stopped holding class the day after that happened. But one day he did email me back. He said from there on out to stop contacting him, and so I did. The school kind of swept everything under the rug. He did in fact get fired. The school said that if anybody reposted that picture of the screen, they would get expelled. I dropped out of college. It was definitely not worth it. So here's just a little reminder to never sleep with your college professor.